Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, I am Eric.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
This has been a good one. This really is one of my favorite movies. So
It is like as culty, I feel like, as movies get.
Yeah.
Because it's like one that not everyone has seen, but
Nope.
the people who have seen it are like locked in on it.
100%.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm there for it. I'm just glad we got a chance to do it. And I'm honestly, I was like when I came in as sort of the replacement co-host, and you guys hadn't done They Live. I'm like, yes, this is how I'm gonna leave my mark.
This is the
on
one
this.
for
This
you?
is the one. This is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. No, I love
Fair.
this movie. I truly do.
Thanks everyone for listening. I want to give shout outs to our regular listeners on the 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger feed. Check us out on social media.
Yeah.
At 6DOS podcast.
Yeah.
On your Instagram, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, although we're not doing much over there, but maybe we can fire that up. I don't know.
I
Are people
honestly,
still fucking around with Twitter? I don't
actually
know.
didn't even know that we had a Twitter account.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on over there.
Okay.
But I'm selling a short here. Check us out on the last of the Action Heroes podcast network. Big things happening over there.
Yeah,
Lots
lots of
of
good
fun
stuff
shows
on there.
going on about all sorts of movies like this.
Yeah.
Your Van Dammes, your Dolph Lundgrens, etc. Bruce Willis.
I feel like we've carved out a nice niche with that group of people. We definitely don't step on anybody's toes. Like you get some really interesting takes from us.
Yeah.
Like it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
I will also shout out, I did go out on a date with a woman who was an actress who's been in a couple of Bruce Willis flicks. She got killed by Bruce Willis in a movie, and she also played Bruce Willis's wife in a movie. We're talking dementia Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah.
This is the later
days.
the shitty shit.
Yeah.
This ain't Bonnie Bedelia.
Oof.
This ain't Holly McClane. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool to pick her brain a little bit about what that whole process was like and everything like that. And like, I'm just like, oh man, I want to be like spiritual Eskimo brothers with Bruce Willis. Come on. Bruce Willis we're talking about here.
Oh.
That's Bruno.
Very exciting.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry, that's definitely on the cutting room floor.
Get it out of your system.
That's the bourbon
Get it here.
talking, my friends. That's the bourbon talking. Sorry, we're back on our They Live shit.
Yeah.
Final episode.
So
It's been a long journey.
It has been a long journey. It's been a great movie, but I feel like I can't continue with part 5 unless I get a summary of everything that has happened up to this point.
I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to go quick with it.
Yeah, do quick.
So,
do it fast.
Quick version is we got this character, Roddy Piper. He's playing Nada. He has stumbled upon a conspiracy that the world is actually being sort of run by these alien infiltrators who have got people sort of brainwashed, and they're all being led around by greed. He's figured this out. He's got his buddy Frank, who he's finally convinced that this shit's going on for real. There's a small contingent of like rebels who know that the shit's popping off. There was a woman that he met earlier who didn't initially believe him. Now she does seem to believe him. Her name is Holly.
Yeah.
The rebels had this big meetup. Holly was there. Right when we think they're about to like maybe, I don't know what, run away or
Together,
or
hopefully.
beat them up, all of a sudden, bang, boom, explosion. The cops, who are also the bad guys, are there. They're everywhere. And we're in the final chapter of our exciting conclusion.
Yeah, that is true. 100%.
Okay.
We are deep into Act 3, a beautiful sum up. And yes, so as we come back in, people are scrambling to grab weapons, right? I mean, all hell is breaking loose right now. Like, it is chaos, and the cops are not being discriminate at all.
No, that's what's fucked, right?
Yeah, they're just shooting every motherfucker in the room.
These dudes and the cops weren't even armed like cops should be armed. They like got Uzis.
Which, I mean, just straight up paramilitary.
They're mowing them down.
Just ridiculous. And unfortunately, our boy Gilbert, who was the head of this whole group, he is collateral. He's just, he's a victim of all this.
I feel like he deserved a more heroic send-off.
He should have taken a couple motherfuckers with him on his way down.
He died maybe
holding a grenades
running,
into them. Exactly.
Something like that.
So, but it's an absolute massacre. There's just no chance any of these rebels are going to survive. A couple of people are trying to escort Holly out of the room, and they're both killed. She is just shocked, and she manages to escape just barely. I mean, there's bullet holes going everywhere.
That reminded me of of Terminator.
Yeah,
when they were in the nightclub, the Tech Noir nightclub, and Sarah Connor's trying to escape, and the people right next to her getting shot and falling on top of her and everything like that.
Yeah.
But one also would think in this moment, a lot of these cops are not creatures, right? A lot of them are
they're
humans.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like they would have a problem with this.
I don't. So
just I know they said that, the cops have been told that we're secret communists.
Yeah.
Which is, that's not illegal to be a communist.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean the ability of humans
shooting people, killing unarmed, not resisting people, you're just mowing them down.
I mean, if you were told that you were about to infiltrate a place that's heavily armed, everybody's packing heat, right? You're going to go in, assume that people are pointed guns at you, so you're going to take that perspective. But I found also never underestimate a human being's ability to compartmentalize, right, and dehumanize other people.
We've seen it throughout history,
right? Exactly. So this scene felt very real to me.
So the cops are just okay, I guess we should murder them.
Right, exactly. I mean, they're totally bought in, and it felt legitimate to me, right?
Sure.
So Holly manages to survive. She flees, but she's split up from Nada and Frank, who go out a different exit. Holly runs out into the street, distressed. The cops are fucking everywhere. They have the whole building surrounded. She barely escapes, it appears.
Well, we don't really see what becomes of her, right?
No, we don't. She flees off screen, and then that's the last we see of Holly for a minute.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Back in the alley, Nada and Frank and everybody else are trying to break through the cops and escape.
That's where we got our Al Leon.
Yeah.
Al Leon sighting.
Oh my God. I because I obviously did not know this.
He's got such a look.
Dude, it's
long hair,
such a look.
The whole goatee and everything.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking Al Leon.
Just that is his only brief moment in the entire movie. He busts out of a back door and he goes in the opposite direction of Nada and Frank.
Busting caps.
Oh my God.
He was credited as Asian revolutionary.
I love that he needed to have an ethnicity. He couldn't just be a revolutionary. He had to be the Asian one.
He's the Asian one.
Oh my God.
He never got a close up. You couldn't even tell what race he was.
I know.
It's kind of crazy.
It was so funny, but unmistakable. The second he busts through the door, oh fuck, it's
Al Leon.
Oh my God, it was amazing. So they're murdering a ton of the aliens. But before long, they're fucking pinned down at a dead end, right?
Right.
I love the way this whole sequence was shot with Nada and Frank behind these barricades at the back of an alley. There's flares burning along the alley length.
Yeah.
The cops start coming down. They're walking down.
I do feel like the creatures had stormtrooper marksmanship. They just couldn't hit for shit.
Yeah.
They had the high ground or whatever.
Oh
and
my God.
They still can't hit
It's
anybody.
Straight up. I mean, you think that this is going to become a straight up Sundance, Butch Cassidy and Sundance moment.
Sure.
Where it's fuck it, we're going to go down in a blaze of glory. But then Frank is looking at the watch, oh fuck it, I don't care about this. He throws it to the side and then he hears a flash and a noise and he brings it to life accidentally.
But it seems like it's on the fritz. It had like the blue lightning going
yeah. The classic like
the
drawn
blue
in
lightning effects.
Yeah.
That's one of our podcast favorites. Any movie that features blue lightning, we're like, oh hell yeah.
They live. They've got it. Like,
sure,
this
they
movie
did
has
it.
literally everything. Literally everything. We'll get to in the very last scene of the movie.
Oh,
it
yes.
has literally everything.
I know where you're talking about.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
So the cops are flooding
Stick
the alley.
around.
Yeah, stick around, everybody. Oh, this is definitely episode 5. So Frank tosses the watch to the side. It comes to life. The cops start firing, and then there's a portal that literally opens up in the fucking ground behind Frank from the watch. And then the watch starts talking, saying, hey, your watch has malfunctioned. We've opened up this portal for you for 10 seconds. Get the fuck through this and head back to headquarters. This portal's not going to reopen, right?
I will say that portal in the ground looked awesome.
Yeah, it was a fucking great effect.
I don't know if that was a practical effect or if that was like some sort of optical shit that they were doing, but it looked amazing.
It looked really fucking cool. It's really lit well.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was really cool. So Nada says, get through the fucking portal. Jump through the portal. Frank's not crazy about it, but he does it anyway.
It's probably not like I understand that. This doesn't seem smart to jump through some unknown portal.
But honestly, you're facing a wall of cops and certain death.
Sure.
Or portal. I'm going to choose portal every time.
Yeah.
And so Nada like empties his fucking clip on the cops. Takes out a couple on the way.
Absolutely.
And then at the last second, jumps through right as the portal's closing. Cool. Excellent. Perfectly timed. Love that entire sequence. Really cool. I mean, it's just beautifully shot, performed. I mean, it was great. So now Nada and Frank are in some sort of weird subterranean tunnel system. It's just, it looks like if you've ever seen like particle colliders.
Yeah.
Those have the tubes running everywhere.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that.
It was
It's
a cool
crazy.
location.
Great shot. Oh my God.
I imagine it's like underground at the airport or something like that.
I feel like this has been in every movie. We probably saw that in Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it was
I
pretty
mean,
great.
Yeah.
It was like amazing looking. It was epic
It was
because
so cool.
The tunnel went on forever.
I know. It's really great. It felt unearthly, which is even weirder because you know that this is a real place somewhere on the earth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, sure. They didn't build this set.
Yeah.
Like this is a real location.
So there are signs on the walls. Some of it is in alien language. At one point, a voice actually calls out that all the descriptions are bilingual, which I thought was hilarious.
This was also the moment that it's not drawn any attention to it. There's no close up like it should have had, but that Nada, he had chucked his machine gun. He's got this big ass Desert Eagle pistol.
Yeah.
And he has this other little gun that he rolls up in the sleeve of his shirt.
If you're not paying attention,
It should have gotten a close up.
I know.
But it did not get a close up. But yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, they did establish that he's got another little gun in the sleeve. Okay, fair enough.
It's great. It's a really subtle
I
little,
only noticed that shit like on the fourth viewing.
amazing attention to continuity in that moment.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it'll pay off. So so they start looking for a way out, and they come to a security checkpoint where a couple of guards hear on the radio that the mission was a success and that the terrorists were completely wiped out, and they are way too happy about this. Like they do like an 80s high five. Like, yeah! Like it was so weird.
It was over the top. It was weird.
So over the top. But anyway, so they skip off hand in hand, right?
That was weird. Yeah, they were like,
so
let's go
weird.
celebrate.
Yeah, I'm going to buy you a bourbon or whatever the alien equivalent of that is. And so Frank and Nada continue. The security guards are too over the moon about all of this to notice them. Eventually, they stop because they start hearing a noise that sounds like cheering.
Yeah.
And they turn a corner and they fucking see this giant fucking ballroom.
I like that transition of I think it was Frank sort of walked right into the camera
and then you transition away and he's walking out of the camera.
Obviously a very different location, but it kind of works because it's a good low budget filmmaker trick.
This is great. This just shows how dated this movie is and yet how also so contemporary it is. There's a speaker at the podium who says that by the year 2025, The Alliance will have complete control of the world.
Man.
You're like, whoa!
I feel like they nailed it.
Damn.
I feel like they nailed it. They're right on.
Unreal.
They're on pace.
Oh my God. He goes on to say, the gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. Big applause for this. Of course. The speaker says that in exchange for helping with the aliens' expansion, they've all become filthy rich. Obviously. Again, more applause.
Oh, dude. I wanted the full, like, the Inglorious Bastards
Just like-
treatment. Just mow them all down, close the doors, and burn this motherfucker down. Dude, eat the rich, motherfuckers.
But they make it clear that it's a mixture of human and alien. Like it is.
Yeah.
It's not just aliens.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so then the speaker relays that the West Coast Resistance has been completely wiped out, which is what we were there seeing moments before.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And then all of a sudden, though, this character slaps Nada and Frank on the back. And who the fuck is it? It's the old dude from the camp.
It's red.
And a waxed up beard, and it's fucking red from earlier in the movie.
Back to the Future, motherfucker.
Oh my God. In a fucking tuxedo now.
I'll be honest, I didn't even recognize him at first because he looked so different.
He's completely different.
He's like, hey guys, good to see you again.
Good to see you again. And I'm like, who the fuck is this?
Fuck you.
Right, exactly. I'm like,
fancy motherfucker.
oh my God, it's the fucking dude from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, looking very different.
He is delighted to see that Nada and Frank have been recruited and said, dogs, like, you should have dressed nicer for the party.
That whole shit cracks me up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's not even a little bit suspicious.
No, not even none
About
whatsoever.
they look like they were just in a gun battle. And not one time really did we see them ever chatting with each other. He's like, you guys, good to see you again.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine.
my
Hey,
God.
his loss, man. Like his hubris. I mean, honestly, you can chalk this up to this hubris of this. Like,
Yeah,
he
sure.
feels so safe that the idea that someone else could infiltrate their safe space is anathema to him.
We should revisit, right? Like, so we've determined
This is a
we
perfect
think
time.
he's been on their side since before the movie started.
Yes, that is my belief as well. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Because he seemed like he was spreading their bullshit propaganda earlier on, and B, I don't see what use he is to them, like as a homeless man.
Right, exactly.
After the camp has been wrecked, like they're not like, by the way, do you want to join us? We'll make you rich.
The story that I wrote for him in my mind is he actually was a homeless guy. And they sort of...
Oh, they recruited him.
And they recruited him and said, look, if you work for
help
us...
convince the other homeless people to stay homeless and be just content with what you got.
We'll make you rich beyond your wildest dreams.
Absolutely.
And he's like, hell yes, sign me up.
Yeah.
Right? And
I
so
agree.
he did. He totally took he totally drank the Kool-Aid. And yeah, so now he's just living large, right?
Absolutely.
And
It's
he's like yeah.
whatever, caviar dreams, champagne, whatever the fuck.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the quote, but I know what quote you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's the lifestyles, the rich and famous.
Rich and famous, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, fuck it.
Anyway, okay. So he finishes his glass, hands it to the empty glass to the waiter, and
He's
as he
loving
does
this life
oh,
of, like-
he is 100%
He's
bought
just like
in.
slapping the servants on the back,
my
sort of,
God.
hey, good to see you again, buddy.
Amazing how quickly he
You're doing great.
accommodates.
You're doing great work here.
This was the
guys.
life he was born into, and he just didn't realize it.
Absolutely.
But the speaker on the podium says, money isn't the nicest thing in life. It's the only thing. And you're like, oof,
Yeah, for
Jesus
sure,
Christ. Wow.
Yeah.
So the old timer then is like, hey, come with me. I'll show you around. So he brings him out of the big ballroom.
This shit's crazy.
This is
how
like-
eager he is to just let me show you everything.
You know, the funny thing is, it's like you could go, well, this is just convenient, right?
Shit.
Like it's really
It
easy to
is-
just
and
chalk
it
this up.
is convenient.
But at the same time, you're watching this going, okay, put yourself in this guy's shoes, right? He was homeless. He was living on the streets. These aliens show up, say, hey, spy for us, and we will make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. He's like, sign me up, right? So he becomes rich. He's like all of a sudden tasted the sweet juices of phenomenal wealth, right?
Yeah.
He abandons any sort of rationality, any sort of like groundedness, and he becomes very safe in these aliens' presence.
Oh, he's loving life.
He's loving life. He has no fears
Nothing
anymore.
can touch me here.
Nothing can touch him, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so the fact that these two guys come in, of course he doesn't think, oh my God, we've got interlopers. He thinks, well, I'm so safe. If you're here, clearly you're on our team.
Yeah, right.
Because
right,
no one
of
could get
course.
to us. Right. And because you aren't dressed well, clearly you're just new. So I'm going to show you around. Like, to me, it made so much sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. Maybe I'm apologizing.
This actor, whatever his name was, he managed to sell that shit.
Yeah. Totally.
Even though it's like, there's no reason you should not be suspicious of these people.
Right, exactly. So he's completely bought in. So he starts showing them around. And Frank goes, hey, like, where are we? And the old timer says backstage, which I love. I thought that was a great line. And he goes, I'll admit it's a little funky, but it serves its purpose.
Yeah.
So he is just, he is just so eager to tell them everything. Like, because again, this is the sense that I got. He's new. Like, he's a new initiate.
That's the only thing that made me think, like, has he been with them a long time or not a long time? Because he's like giving the orientation speech.
Right. He was inserted into the shanty town like days before the movie started.
Sure.
Right. And so
his whole purpose is like just placate everybody, keep everyone pacified,
and report on us. It wouldn't surprise me if he was the one who turned in the church.
Of course.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's behind the raid on the camp.
And that intel is what got him to this thing. So he is just on cloud
he just got a
nine.
promotion?
Yeah, like he's just freshly promoted. So anyway, so they're walking around. He explains the wrist watches and says, we're only supposed to use these in cases of emergencies, but whatever, they're fun, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's great. I love it. So then they walk to this amazing thing where, like, Frank and Nada are shocked. We don't see what it is that they're looking at initially, but it's this great moment. And we cut to this transporter room where these two aliens with suitcases and business suits getting on transporters to send them back to the Andromeda system.
Whatever. Yeah.
Wherever.
It's so great because the dude is like, go on, take a closer look.
Yeah.
He like, I can't show you enough of our shit here. Like, look at this shit. Get a load of this.
So excited.
Get a load of this shit.
Says, I don't know how it works, but it's like an airport where you just move from place to place or world for world, world to world. I'm like,
absolutely.
That's great.
The effects did not look great on this, I have to admit.
No, it was a bad
The low budget was showing.
Yeah.
But it was still like, I feel like John Carpenter's like, we got to have that.
Right, you got to have like some explanation of how they got there.
Oh yeah, they're bouncing back and forth to their planet.
Yeah,
this is really the only explanation that they give that would explain that these people are actually aliens.
Yeah.
Instead of just being, I don't know, some
weird
other type of
interdimensional monsters
or
something. Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Like
No, they came from another planet. Mole people. Nice.
So the old timer continues to give him the tour. And
there's a look that Keith David gave to Rowdy Piper when he's like, can you believe this fucking guy? He's also like, oh, we're gonna kill the fuck out of this guy.
I know.
Like, fucking get a load of this motherfucker. We're gonna kill this guy so hard.
It's that moment though that makes it all believable because he's sort of like, can you believe he's doing this right now? Like, this is too fucking good to be true. So eventually, Oldtimer takes them to the TV control room, which is like, of all the places that you take them, really, the control. Okay, sure, great.
No one seems concerned about like they're wandering through these high security areas with like dudes who clearly look like they don't belong here.
Again, I feel
he's waving to the guards like, "Hey, you're doing a great job, you guys."
Maybe again, I am apologizing to the movie too much because I love it so much, but. This is what my natural sort of rationale was. This is the safe spot, right?
Of course.
If you're here, you're vested.
They can't touch us.
They can't touch us.
Yeah.
There's like none of the aliens are worried about you being a villain. No one is concerned. No one has gotten this far before. No one has breached this place before.
Yeah.
So they're so safe. Like this is the pinnacle of hubris.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
oh, yeah. That's what it is.
Right. It is absolutely hubris is the reason why they're able to walk into this place so unmolested.
What's also strange to me is like, I'm assuming most of these guards are not humans, but creatures.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like they're almost in a subservient role to this homeless motherfucker. Would any creature let themselves be ranked below a human in this? I don't really know.
The sense that I get is that like they tolerate him, like that they were, like they knew.
They all think he's annoying, though?
Right? They all think he's annoying, but he serves a purpose, so they let him get away with it.
They're humoring some people.
They are. They absolutely felt like it was humoring him. So they go to the TV control room, and it's like this is where they pump their signal out to the world.
Yeah. He's like, not too familiar with it myself.
No, I mean, not too.
This fucking guy is like a raging dumbass.
Oh my god!
I don't understand how anything works,
So
but let me
great.
show you everything.
So he takes them farther into the actual studio.
Here's the exact information you would need to shut our shit down.
Isn't this convenient?
Yeah.
This is also like, okay, we have to make this a 90-minute movie, not a 2.5-hour-long movie. So we
Yeah.
have to cram a lot of shit into
absolutely.
like a 10 pounds into a 5-pound bag kind of thing, So they're in the back booth, and there's a couple of armed guards, and they look through a giant window, and there's news anchors, and they're doing a news show, of course, in front of the Cable 54 backdrop, right? So Nada he asks like, hey, can you like take us inside? I've never seen the inside of a real TV studio before.
That was a funny delivery.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never seen the inside of a real TV studio. Yeah, that's funny.
So, bum turned rich turncoat strokes his chin beard, right? He goes like, I guess I can.
Right.
He asks the guards if he can take him into the studio. The guard says, sure, but like, look, dude, I got to see your authorization cards.
Fucking about time.
Yeah.
Somebody got suspicious of these two obvious imposters.
Right, obvious imposters. This is like the one smart alien in the entire thing is like,
Yeah. Okay, that's cool, but like, show me some proof.
show me some ID.
Yeah.
Well, that was the wrong thing to say because Nada and Frank go, yeah, here's our ID. And they immediately pull out their guns and just murder everybody but Old Man River. And so the old timer is still alive, and he Nada grabs him by the beard, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny shit.
It's just like, tell me where the signal is beamed from. And the old timer says, oh, it's on the roof. It's on the roof. So by this point, like, we're still holding him by the beard. Nada says, like, shit, this is where Holly works. She might be here. I don't know why she would come back here after everything, but whatever.
Exactly. It'd be weird, like, let me go to work.
Right, we're not really worried about that, I guess. But before they go, the old timer says, look, dude, it's just business, right? Like, the creatures own the whole planet now.
Exactly.
There's nothing you can do about that.
That sounds like every fucking CEO.
Right, it's
like,
always...
it's just business. We have a fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders to fucking ruin the earth
Said, look,
in the name of profits.
Look, we can all live a good life as long as the aliens get what they want. You could have a little taste of the good life too. I know you want it. Hell, everybody does. Frank cannot believe how willing this douchebag is to sell out humanity. And the old dude says, look, we all sell out every day. Might as well be on the winning team.
I think that was Carpenter's like most direct shot at like the issue that he's trying to address with this movie.
Yeah.
Is like the idea that we should just give rich people whatever they want and they'll toss us some crumbs.
We'll get some crumbs. And look, the crumbs are better than nothing,
That's
right?
the false promise bullshit. Like also the fact that people have been brainwashed into selling out humanity and like the planet.
Yeah.
In the names of helping rich people get even richer. Like I thought that was Carpenter's like his core idea.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like, can you believe this shit?
Yeah, that actually, it's funny because I feel like almost intentional or not, that moment, that brief exchange was sort of the apotheosis of the entire movie.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was the whole point he was trying to get to. But anyway, before we can linger on that thought for too long, another guard bursts through the door and Nada shoots him. But in that distraction, Old Man River takes the opportunity to use his wristwatch and teleport away. He actually used it in an emergency as opposed to, frivolously like he said he was going to.
Right.
So Frank uses a hand grenade that he had gotten earlier and he breaches the door of the studio. Chaos ensues. Frank and Nada burst through the room. They start shooting up the place. Like fucking everybody goes haywire. Everybody just loses their shit and flees
There's that
in
great
every
catharsis
direction.
of like just
Yeah.
mowing
Just
motherfuckers down.
mowing all these evil motherfuckers down. Yeah. They flee the room. They go up. They go around a corner. A pregnant woman comes out of an office. Nada grabs her, the stranger, and demands to know where Holly is. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know anything. What do you want from me?
Do you think every person who's working here at Cable 54 is like aware of what's going on?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I suspect that this random woman is completely oblivious to what's going on.
She might be like, I just work here, and then there's some humans who are aware, and then there's a lot of creatures in the midst as well.
And there's so much power in that too, because like this random woman, all she sees, she doesn't understand the conspiracy. She doesn't understand everything that's going on. She just sees two guys like invading her office with assault rifles.
Right.
But she doesn't know where Holly is ultimately, and why would she? Like not
Not everyone knows everyone in the building.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
But then over the intercom, there's a call for security to come and help. And like this just raises the tension even higher. So Frank and Nada move into the next room and they pause because it is just asses to elbows yuppie scum. Like it is oh my God. It is so intentional that they filled the room the way that they did.
I don't think it was even any coincidence. There's zero diversity in the room.
No, none whatsoever.
It's all like just clean cut, preppy dressed like white folk.
Yeah. And so Nada on their way through, they ask a random woman, like, how do they get the roof? And
that
she
woman
says,
cracked me up. She was just like mid phone call.
Yeah.
Everyone's scrambling around her and she's like locked in on her phone call and then she seemed unaware. Dude's like got an AR-15 or whatever and he's like, excuse me, which way to the roof? Oh, it's just a stupid question also. It's up, it's motherfucker.
Up. Yeah, like find a stairwell and go
There's
up.
an elevator stairs. You want to go up to the top. That's where the roof is. Yeah.
But yeah, I just imagine that she was like having a conversation like, Henry, you cheated on me? Like, this is when she's learning all of this going on. And so they run towards the elevators. They get to the elevators and there's like a bunch of fucking more security guys show up.
Yeah.
And they duck into the stairwell. They can't take the elevator. They can't go the easy way. So they're forced to walk up the stairwell.
That would kick your ass walking up the stairs. I mean, we don't know how tall this building is.
No, we don't.
20 floors.
We don't know what floor they're on at this point. So
I imagine it's pretty tall.
Oh, you know, they were on the basement. Yeah.
We see later on it's pretty high.
It's
got to be 15,
building.
20 plus stories.
So cut to, I don't know how many like hours later, they slog their way up to the top of the stairwell. And they come out to a hallway and they find a couple guards and they kill them. And then there's like some humans and they because they're wearing the contact lenses so they can see reality, right? And so they're clearly human, so they let the humans pass.
I feel like that's important that they're still even distinguishing.
Even now, right, they make the distinction.
We're not here to kill humans, we're just here to kill the creatures.
Yep. And I think that they did that on purpose, right? It's just like as a reminder point, because there's so much violence going on at this point. Yeah. It's like we need to take a moment to remind you that they're only killing aliens. Don't worry.
They're not here to kill humans.
Yeah, exactly. So there's guards downstairs. We cut to them, and they're radioing that Nada and Frank are up on the 19th floor.
Yeah.
And then there's other guards up on the 21st floor. It's like, that's perfect. We're on the 21st floor. We're going to wait for him.
That's one of those dudes had the PKE meter from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they're all over the place. That was hilarious when he walks out.
Huh?
Yeah.
And apparently they said that it was the actual props.
It was the props, right?
They were reusing props that were just in the prop locker.
Yeah.
Or something.
Which I laughed loud. I believe that the first time I saw this movie, I probably laughed as well. Yeah. Because it is such an iconic prop. Of all props of all movies, why would you use that one?
I agree.
That was such a weird decision. But they did. Yeah, it was a fucking PKE meters from Ghostbusters. Anyway, back to Nada and Frank. They're still murdering guards everywhere, left and right.
The guards were useless.
They just did nothing.
These are like two untrained men.
Yeah.
And they're just cutting through you guys like warm butter.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, so Holly shows up out of nowhere, and you're like, this feels fake. Right?
What are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like so convenient. but it's fine. It pays off. Nada grabs her. It's like, come with us, right? And she's like, okay. She's only too willing to go with
They
him.
should be suspicious, I feel like.
They should.
So you survived the warehouse shootout and then you just came to work?
Yeah, exactly. The sense that I got is there's just so much drama and like intensity going on right now. There's no time for rational thought.
Which is probably accurate.
And so Nada sees his objective, like flawed or not.
The damsel in distress.
The damsel in distress, right?
Yeah.
To his own hubris. Again, hubris kills us all, ultimately. And so he sees her and is like, yes, okay, this is what I've come for. She's on my team. He grabs her. They flee. They find another stairwell, and they go into it. Nada murders more ineffectual guards. Like, these guys just aren't even trying.
That's a 1-on-3, and he's just mowing them down.
Yep. At which point, Nada yells for Frank and Holly to follow him. He heads up the roof, and like one of the most shocking scenes, it just comes out of nowhere, but it is so perfectly done. Holly walks up from behind Frank, puts the gun to his temple, pulls the trigger, cuts to Nada on the roof.
It was an unceremonious ending for Frank.
But a perfect ending, though, right?
Yeah.
Like the futility of some of these rebellions sometimes.
I feel like they should have been suspicious of her.
Yeah.
But I guess you're right. It's the chaos of war.
Of war, yeah.
Sure.
I thought it was great, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it shocked me, and it did, and that's what you should have felt there, right? Like, Frank dies in such a meaningless way, and how many people in these scenarios die meaninglessly?
Right, because you're not gonna like you're bleeding out in your friend's arms and you're having a final like saying goodbye. No, you're just dead.
You're just dead.
You were fine 1 second, and the next second you're gone.
It was heartbreaking. It was horrible because I love Keith David, and I thought Frank was a great character.
Truly.
But it was just like, it was such a perfect, like, yes, this felt true to everything that was going on, right? So Nada has no idea that this has happened. He's on the roof, and he sees this, like, really, like, obviously alien satellite dish.
Right. There's, like, weird gadgets.
It's just
on
like,
it.
it's all over the place. There's no reason that this should look as weird as it does. And he gets ready to shoot the satellite, and he's like, hey, Frank, Holly, are you there? Did you come up?
Which is, honestly, does it matter if they're there or not?
It really doesn't, yeah. It's just a little bit, again, it falls kind of back into that hubris of humanity where, like, I'm about to do something great, and I want to make sure someone else sees me do it.
Okay.
Right?
You're right.
Kind of the way I took it, right?
A little bit.
No one is perfect.
No, we're up there, like, empty the clip, pull the pin on all your grenades.
Yeah.
Like, it does nothing else matters.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters but this, right? But anyway... So he turns around, and Holly says in a very ominous tone, she made it up.
Yeah, right.
Oof,
Yeah.
brother. So he turns, and he sees that Holly, of course, has a gun pointed at him.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, please don't do this. You can't win. Just stop.
See, I think maybe she really does actually, like, have feelings for him.
Yeah, I agree.
She doesn't want to see him die.
Yeah, I agree. In some weird, morbid way, she still sees some sort of them riding off into the sunset together.
I don't
right?
understand really why she's just, I guess she has to stick to her decision that she's in league with the creatures.
Yeah, I don't.
As opposed to just like being like, no, I could betray them. Like I could do that, but I'm not going to.
Again, I mean, like I don't want to like get too into the psychology of it, but she's so bought into them at this point.
Yeah.
If she abandoned that,
she's invested in them winning, right?
Exactly. Like if she turned away from that, like what does that say about her? I mean,
guess
she
so.
literally just killed Frank a second ago.
That's true. Yeah,
Right?
there's probably no forgiving that.
Exactly.
Ever.
And so she's bought in. Like she's made her choice, right? And so she demands that he drops her gun. He refuses. And then all of a sudden, these copsters show up. And she's like, look, I can protect you if you come with me, right?
Okay.
And Nada says, okay, fine. He tosses his gun over to her. But while he does that, you can see, again, going back to that gun that he tucked into his sleeve that they don't really show.
Because originally I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's got a gun rolled up in his sleeve?
Why is he doing that? Well, he pulls it out of his sleeve. Boom, she's dead. And it was great. Like instant death. Like she's dead and falling.
Yeah.
Gravity is doing the work of taking her down. It was a really great shot. And I love that he has no sympathy for it. There's no remorse. right?
I'm down with that.
All of these beats at this point is great. I thought all of these beats were phenomenal. So he turns around, he says, "Oh, fuck it," and he starts shooting at the satellite dish.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. But as he does it, there's sparks flying. The gunman in the helicopter shoots him, and he falls to the ground. Right. We cut to a wide shot, and the satellite dish explodes. There's like a green laser beam, like everything.
It was weird. It was definitely like an effect shot. It was not, the Nakatomi Tower.
No.
The explosion on the roof.
Yeah.
But it still worked.
Yeah. So we cut back from the wide shot of all the explosions on the roof, and iconic. Nada flips the bird to the chopper as he's dying.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck you. Like ultimately,
I'm going out like a badass.
Yeah, I am going out the way I want to go out. It's great. So he dies, and then all of a sudden the TV signal changes, and it drops all the brainwashing and all of the aliens, all of the fucking creatures. You see them, like they're delivering the news, like they're not human anymore.
This is the first time we've seen them in color, I think.
Right, this is. We've never seen them in color up to this point. We've only seen them in black and white.
I thought they looked better in black and white.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of blue and red.
Yeah, blue and red, yeah.
It was just like, it was weird looking. They looked better in black and white, I think.
Totally agree. I totally agree with you. So people in the control room see that this is happening. They're freaking out. There's another channel where there's like an alien telling an interviewer. Oh, yeah, I had to pause. I was laughing so hard. I had completely forgotten this. So they're in a Roger and Ebert style movie review scenario.
I feel like it was either supposed to be a fake version of that show or like, his commentaries that these are the real Siskel and Ebert is like they're fucking creatures.
Yep.
Fucking corporate like shills.
And so one of them is complaining about how there's just too much sex and violence on the screen. And filmmakers like George Romero and John Carpenter need to show some restraint. I died. I just started laughing so hard. I had to pause the movie in that moment and just like let that moment pass through me. It was just so meta.
I love the great meta touch. The shout out to Romero is awesome.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man.
Contemporary of Carpenter.
Oh my God, so funny. What a great moment. So everybody is like watching and they suddenly realize what's going on. Everything is freaking out. We cut to all these locations. The one thing that you guys, notice we haven't talked about in this movie so far is gratuitous nudity. Been no gratuitous nudity and They Live up to this point. Well, thank God John Carpenter hasn't forgotten. And we cut to a hot chick fucking a guy. She's riding cowboy style on top of him. Totally topless.
It's an amazing moment.
It is
in gratuitous nudity history.
One of the best gratuitous nudity scenes of all time.
It has to be the record for like getting the gratuitous nudity in just under the wire.
Just under the wire.
Because it's like literally the last scene of the movie.
It is the last scene of the movie because she's fucking the guy. She sees what's going on the TV. She stops. We cut down. She's fucking an alien. And the alien goes, "Hey, what's wrong, baby?" Who is Jeff Amata. He's literally the last person in this movie as we cut to black and roll credits.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
It's the great Jeff Amata who portrayed like 95% of the creatures in the flick, male and female.
Yep.
Gotta show the dude some love because he was a huge part of the movie.
Oh my
barely
God.
got credited at the very end of the credits, right?
Yeah.
It's another one of those dudes like Al Leong, like James Liu. Dude was just like fucking working.
Yeah.
Like Asian dude working in the industry. He had his big breakthrough. He working with Carpenter in Big Trouble in Little China. He was the dude who wielded the butterfly knife early in the flick, like, and fucking Kurt Russell's like, "Where'd you get that?" But he's the stunt coordinator on this movie.
Yeah.
He's at some point Carpenter decided, I think it's like it'd just be easier for your every creature as opposed to like using a bunch of other people.
I had heard that they had cast a man and a woman to be the male alien and the female alien, and they just weren't doing it.
So much time and makeup and everything like that, and then it's like you got to be able to like wear squibs and get shot and stuff. And it's like, what if you just did?
What if you just
do all of it?
Yeah,
right. He's just an amazing stuntman, stunt coordinator.
Oh my God.
/ Asian henchman. In countless movies and TV shows. He's done tons of fight choreography.
Yeah.
He did all the fight choreography for the Bourne movies, which has like, for my money, like some of the best like fighting I've ever seen in movies or whatever. But yeah, dude's fucking legendary. So definitely like huge props to Jeff Amata. He's been in some legendary flicks, and it was awesome. He's still around, still working.
Yeah, he's still working.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude.
I saw an interview with him talking about like how that all came about, and then when he found out that like he was the last character in the movie and he was like fucking a hot chick.
He's probably like, that's probably going to be the only like love scene he ever gets to do in any movie,
he
right?
He thought that was amazing.
Hell
right?
yeah.
It was so funny.
Hell yeah.
What a great way to end the movie though, too.
I know, that's like literally
sneak
it.
in. Yeah.
Cut to black.
Yeah, cut to black. That's it. Credits roll. I mean, and that's They Live.
That is. And I read the original script had a bit after this where like a title card on the screen that said, "The war for the world began that night, and it was led by a homeless man named John Nada."
Oh, interesting.
Which I don't know why they really cut that out, but maybe, I don't know if they were thinking franchise or not franchise, or I don't know what, but
I don't know.
That would have been interesting. Yeah, I would have liked to see that at the end. Except I guess Nada is dead now.
Yeah, he is.
So maybe that's why they're like, yeah, we don't really need this, like, especially if we're not sure there's going to be a sequel. Then maybe that's just it.
Honestly, I don't know that I would have loved a sequel. I mean, for me, and this is
where
most
else can
movies,
you go?
Right. It's just, it was such a beautiful sort of like self-contained piece.
We can just assume the humans are going to win.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. I mean, at this point, like, you've got a couple of gateways that you need to shut down. How many aliens can you really
That's
get
what I would have
in?
seen is like, would they have gone to the alien planet?
Yeah.
Or something to try to fuck their shit up there? But
my fear is that like the last thing I would want is like a They Live : Resurrection, right?
Ooh,
the last thing we need is an Independence Day sequel, right? No one needs that. No one wants that. And I'm glad that it just kind of can exist in this sort of perfect space.
It's just where it needs to be. I could see them doing a remake of this.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
And it would just be awful too. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't need to remake this
No,
movie.
it was done right the first time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm okay with remakes when there's a movie that's like, oh yeah, there's room for improvement
Yeah.
here. This is a movie you could make it better. But when a movie's a classic, there's no need to mess with it.
No, I agree.
But yeah, that was it. That was it. Done on a super low budget, just $4 million.
Incredible.
But yeah, like you said earlier, I think this opened number 1.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it was a hit. It came out, I think, also like the week before the presidential election. Like, but that was intentional. Like,
Yeah,
it came out like it came out the Friday right before the election. You know, yeah, opened number 1, made triple its money,
Wow.
and vanished from theaters in
Yeah.
a way that was suspicious.
Right. Exactly.
It's
yeah.
like, why is a movie that's making like, it was number one again the next week, and then it was gone from theaters.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
It's fucked up, man.
That makes you think there are powers that be that are like, we don't, like, let's get this out of theaters now. You know what I mean? We don't want
It's
people
not
seeing this and like
unreasonable.
thinking that corporate greed's a bad thing.
Yeah. Ooh, that would, I mean, yeah. No, I know. It remains, the movie came out in 88, and so it is over 30 years old at this point. And it remains unbelievably relevant, unbelievably contemporary.
More so now than it even was when it came out,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
But
Yeah, the Blu-ray had the interview with Carpenter where he's talking about the origins of the flick, right? He had said that he had like we said, a problem with authority.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He read the comic book adaptation. He was like, "Oh, this is interesting to me." You know, in that version, I think the world was like hypnotized
It was
rather
hypnotized.
than the
Yeah.
glasses. But one guy snaps out of it, and he's like, "Oh, that's an intriguing like idea, right?" Then he said he crossed it with like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where that was his childhood, favorite or whatever. But he, like we said, he really fucking just hated Reaganomics and the idea that like, oh yeah, trickle down.
Right.
From we just give the rich people more money, and then eventually they'll just
give it to
throw
other
us
people,
some, right?
Yeah.
So this was his response to that. But he said Reagan was, in there breaking up unions, and the working class was getting poorer, and that's what really motivated him. I think more than like Republican, Democrat, whatever. It was just like working class versus like the elites
Yeah.
who are hoarding money and wealth and making working class people more poor is what really bugged him. But yeah, it was based on the bullshit promise of like, if rich people get richer, like eventually you'll get a taste of the good life too.
Right.
He couldn't believe that voters were buying into the bullshit.
Yeah.
I think he felt like that's what, like, he felt like, are people fucking brainwashed?
Yeah, and it was like less Reagan himself and more the fact that people were buying it.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Has everyone gone crazy?
Yeah.
Like, am I the only one who is understanding why are these people doing this shit? Yeah, voting against your best interests was crazy shit to him. It remains a mystery to me as well. But yeah, released before the election, on the commentary, he said that like that 80s greed he felt like has never gone away.
No.
He said like, they're still here with us and they're making more money than ever. Which blew me away because I was like, oh yeah, facts, dude. Facts. I don't know.
And I suspect that the commentary was even 10 years old because all the copyrights
it was
on
like
everything
2012 or something.
Yeah, it was
the date on it.
2012. Yeah.
But I think we said maybe earlier the lead was originally he wrote it, I think, with Kurt Russell in mind.
Yep.
But then they had bombed with Big Trouble in Little China and had done, what did you say, 4 movies in a row?
Yeah, they had done 4 movies in a row.
And it's like, oh yeah, and let's
Elvis,
change of
The
pace.
Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, and
what was that other flick?
Shoot,
it wasn't. Was it? No, it was probably Escape from New York.
It was Escape from New York. That's what it was. Yeah, thank you. Because that was in '81. Yeah, it was after
they were
Elvis.
cranking them out.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper was saying Vince McMahon like didn't want him to do the movie.
Piper quit the WWF. Yeah.
He said Vince McMahon didn't want him to do it. He said basically though this is strictly because Vince McMahon's a fucking control freak.
Yeah.
And he wants to control every aspect of what everyone is doing.
Which is just like so apropos for this whole movie.
Yeah. So McMahon apparently was like threatening, like, oh, this is going to ruin your career, but I can get you a better movie for more money, which is very like fucking creature-like.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right? So Piper, he quit to do the movie. And then he said, this movie made me twice as famous. I came back and got a better...
and he had a better deal after doing the movie.
The same shit happened with Hulk Hogan in Rocky 3.
Oh, really?
Where he was like, he's inked up with McMahon.
Yeah.
And he got the offer to be Thunder Lips.
Yeah.
In Rocky 3. And McMahon's like, I forbid you to do it. And Hulk Hogan's like, fuck you, then I quit.
Yeah.
And he went and did the movie. It made him even more high profile. And then he came back for even more money with McMahon. But yeah, it's just fucking wild shit.
It's so crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts? We just did Action Jackson, which was another 88 flick. So I don't think we need to rehash all the movies of 88.
No, we don't need to go into that.
Do you have final thoughts about this movie?
I just remember, I've seen this movie more times than I can count now.
That's awesome.
And every time that I watch it, I still discover something new about it.
That's a sign of a great movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep noticing things. There's more meanings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
More levels of meaning.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, to me, it just cements John Carpenter as one of the greatest genre directors of all time. And he's just a phenomenal filmmaker in general. And for someone of his talent, his filmography is remarkably short, actually.
Yeah.
Like he did so much in the 80s and then like in the early 90s, and then he didn't really do much after that, right?
Yeah. It's odd, yeah.
But like what he did was just, I mean, he made so many amazing movies, and it's a testament to what I think a forward-looking director you are, that he's had so many movies that flopped initially, because The Thing wasn't a huge hit either.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And only to come back and people go, no, this was amazing.
It's a classic.
It was just ahead of its time, right?
Yeah.
And he's got 4 or 5 movies in his oeuvre that were all no, this was an amazing movie. It was just ahead of its time.
We just didn't get it.
We just didn't get it at the time.
At the time, yeah. Sure.
And so it's remarkable to me. So many of his movies are in my top 100 list, right? He is one of my favorite directors.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I agree completely. I think my mind is blown at how ahead of its time this particular movie was.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, every point that he was trying to make about society is more accurate now than it was when he made it.
I know.
The climate change shit.
That was crazy. That came out of nowhere.
The corporate greed shit.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Yeah, no, it would make more sense if they were aliens who were somehow brainwashed the people in charge into killing our planet than the alternative that it's just people are just doing it on their own.
Just doing it to themselves. I know.
What good is it? There's some weird billionaire's mental illness about like whoever dies with the most money wins.
Right?
And it's like you got more money than any person could ever spend.
Right.
You could end homelessness or end hunger in the world, but instead you're just sitting on billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't understand it. But Carpenter didn't understand it 35 years ago.
And so he made a fucking movie about it. And it's a fucking perennial classic.
As relevant as ever. Everyone should watch this movie. If you haven't seen it, but you've still been listening to the podcast, that I'm amazed.
I can't believe you haven't already started to go and see this movie.
But yeah, I'm sure if you haven't seen it already, you gotta go watch this movie. This blew me away. It holds up incredibly well. You know, low budget of special effects being a little spotty aside. This movie's fucking amazing.
Stellar performances by all the leads.
Even Roddy Piper. In a strong performance for a
first
wrestler.
movie he ever did.
Yeah.
Like he was straight up strictly a wrestler before this movie. Yeah.
And he went on to make other flicks, but none of them I don't think were as like legitimately good as this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's a good place to leave you. Go watch the movie. If you haven't seen it in a long time, watch it.
I guarantee
if you've never seen it, watch it. If you saw it last week, watch it again.
You're going to see something different that you didn't see the last time.
Yeah, this movie is deep.
It is.
It's amazing how deep this movie is compared to other movies that are completely shallow.
Yeah.
And this is like a low budget as hell, guerrilla style movie.
Yeah.
And it is telling a story that has staying power. I love that. So respect to John Carpenter. You're a legend.
Always.
And Keith David, Roddy Piper, rest in peace.
Yeah, back in 2015. Almost a decade next year.
I know, that's fucking crazy.
Crazy.
But this movie is a true classic, a true cult movie. I love it. But that's a great place to leave off. We'll be back with more excellent movies. Don't know what's next. Probably something not as quite as good as this, to be honest. But
but we will be back.
Yeah, we will be back.